Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we are discussing an 8-piece titanium limited edition for 2021. By far the sportiest watch ever made by Valet de Joux watchmaker D.Candaux. This is the DC7 Genesis. The watch, a tourbillon regulator, is 44 millimeters wide as I measure it, 14.8 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, 52.6 millimeters, and it has a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now you see it, and the magic crown disappears, and now you don't. 31 parts and a patent applied for. This is a unique, sleek, and as you can see, quite well-protected crown concept. But let's throw it on the wrist. I'm getting ahead of myself. Taking a look at how it fits, it is large. There's no getting around that. 52 plus from lug to lug is a broad watch, but you can see the shape, especially with the taper of the lugs, is designed to wrap around your wrist. Now, I wouldn't recommend you go out and wear this on a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference. There are other Candaux watches that were a bit smaller, but the watch wears well on my 16 centimeter wrist, and you can see it's actually flat enough that it will slide under certain types of cuffs. Being made entirely of titanium and sapphire, it is a very, very light watch. It is also a very sporting watch, as you can see. On the top, we have what appears to be a embossed leather, so leather that has been embossed to look like a textile in a bright ultramarine blue. On the bottom, we have a suede Alcantara type material. D.Candaux, creator of time. He works out of Le Soliat, which is a small town in the Vallée du Joux. His godfather is Philippe Dufour, and he is both an engineer and a watchmaker, third generation. So I think it's safe to say he's earned the right to put the name of the town of reference on his strap, as well as his name on the dial. Now, the timepiece is rather sophisticated, starting with the buckle, which is a handsome combination of a screwed-in, double-finished rose gold medallion and then twin trigger release with a double fold action. You can see that the twin trigger ensures it cannot pop open accidentally, and we have both satin finish here and polish, showing the level of attention to detail. Now, jumping a little bit closer to the case, you can see D.Candaux uses pull-tab spring bars, increasingly popular in luxury watches because they allow the removal of the strap without a tool. The case is large, arcing, and complex. As you can see, there are several different finishes. There's polish, there's satination, there's also the use of some beveling, as well as exposed external assembly screws, giving a little bit of a techie industrial look. You can also see that the lugs jut out from the case flank, and the bezel is somewhat withdrawn from the case flank, vertical and tiered. You can also see that the bezel is asymmetrical as it swells as it approaches the magic crown, as this is known. Now, you can also see that the dial itself, if you look carefully from this angle, you can see the dial is canted at 3 degrees from the horizontal. So it is canted this way, 3 degrees. The tourbillon, which is a flying tourbillon and a 1-minute tourbillon, is canted at 30 degrees, and it has an overcoil hairspring. So D.Candaux's theory is that with all of these features added, it is going to be less susceptible to gravitational-induced timing deviation than a conventional watch or even a conventional tourbillon. Now, on the dial side, we have a sunburst blue, which is a bright blue that nicely matches the strap, and you can see that it features skeletonized hands. The watch is well loomed, which is not the case with other D.Candaux watches. This one is designed to be worn all the time. Part of that is evident in the loom of the dial, which includes the tourbillon, and part of that is evident in the fact that this model, as opposed to his original tourbillon regulators, is 50 meters water resistant rather than 30. Now, the timepiece includes, we'll get as close as we can here, a tourbillon. I'm going to do my best to give you guys a good view, that is equipped with a overcoil hairspring and a free-sprung architecture. So all of the timing adjustment is done with variable polar moment bolts that change the polar moment and thus the turning force moving in or out. You can also see that there is a blued frame for the tourbillon cage, which features sharp interior bevels, impressive to see on such a small part. It's also been handsomely fire blued. Now, the watch includes a engine-turned base plate, and if you look around the tourbillon as well as on the base plate, you can see black polished pin studs as well as black polished screws. D.Candaux puts his name on a plaque on the dial, also Le Soliat. It is the town where he has practiced, and course, he's been in practice for over 20 years. He's built Grande Sonnerie for Jaeger-LeCoultre. He's built bevel gear tourbillon for Baudelaire, and now practicing under his own name, making between 12 and 18 watches a year, so you're guaranteed exclusivity. And though these watches are pre-owned, he guarantees them for 10 years, so they are still quite well covered, given that this watch came out in 2021. Now, turning it over, you can see the movement. The movement is designed for maximum symmetry, and it achieves that. As you can see, the bridge symmetry is remarkable for a timepiece. It also features a number of unusual finishes. Let's talk about basic tech specs. Free sprung balance, flying tourbillon, 1-minute tourbillon, 21/6 beat rate, overcoil hairspring, 6-position adjustment, 28 joules, 72-hour manual wind power reserve. The heart and the spirit, you can see he's created a satination across the bridges that is achieved using Turkish oil stone, and then you can see that the edge of each bridge has been mirror polished, and I do mean mirror polished with sharp outward angles that all face inward. You can also see the bridge at the center bearing the center wheel features sharp inward angles and black polish across its top. If you look at the wheels themselves, their inner circumference as well as spokes have also been hand beveled. Very, very unusual stuff, as even many Geneva seal movements will not feature that level of detailing on wheels. And once again, all of it is 50 meters water resistant. There is a lot to love with this watch, and very unusual from one of the great independent watchmakers of our time. D.Candaux is a member of the AHCI, which is the cool kids club of independent watchmakers, so he's up there with Carrie, Philippe Dufour, and of course FP. He is of that ilk. He belongs in their ranks. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.